I am Mary Roderick, and I am a regional planner for the Land of Sky Regional Council here in Western North Carolina. I think one of the keys is ensuring that the key partners and decision makers are involved from the beginning to build momentum and commitment. And for the types of projects that we do, this is typically town staff, like the town manager, the planning director, the Parks and Rec director, or Public Works. We also leverage our regional partnerships, like the French Broad River Partnership, to identify partners who are doing other work in the same watershed area. And this includes the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, any nonprofits, businesses like outfitters. And we want to make these aware of our projects to see if there are any synergies. Of course, it's important to build relationships with individuals within those governments, and we do that through our board meetings and through hosting workshops or talks around special topics. In my case, that is stormwater management and resilience. And then we also participate in larger partnerships, like I already mentioned, the French Broad River Partnership, and local initiatives organized by nonprofits around specific watershed planning activities or stormwater management. I'll start with monitoring because this is really the driver for planning, and we typically start with state level data and look at things like the integrated water quality assessment that's put together for EPA. And then we supplement that with any local data that's already available. In our case, that's VWIN or SMIE monitoring. And I've worked on watershed plans where monitoring data is not available, and that's really our first priority in terms of funding and implementation, is to then get that monitoring started so we can identify problems. Usually we have to do land use analysis to help determine where to monitor and identify potential issues. And once we know what issues we're dealing with, we can start planning how to address those and identifying the key partnerships that are needed to do that. So the 319 program really provides a much needed funding resource to address water quality and to help supplement the funds that are available through taxes and fees. Underground infrastructure that's already there can really limit what you can do, like the depth of the bioretention. And so green streets in particular, for example, are tricky, and we've had to address problems in projects where these have been included. Analysis really needs to be done ahead of the proposal to make sure that things like green streets can really work in the location that they're chosen. Making sure that you don't have scope creep when you're doing the project. Once things get rolling, people have a lot of other ideas that they want to include, and that can be done, but you typically have to phase it then. I think the very first thing is to really just start with the problem you want to address. And think about co-benefits. I think that's a really important key, especially when using green infrastructure. If you're concerned about like urban heat islands and water quality, then trees can be a good option. If it's a food desert, then you can think about planting food producing trees if there's a capacity to manage those. If you wanted to reduce riverine flooding and erosion, and increase biodiversity, for example, you could focus on riparian restoration. And I think the resources that are out there, like the American Society of Landscape Architects has some great resources about green infrastructure and how they can be used or how it can be used. EPA has many good resources. So, I think once you've identified what you want to do, the particular issue you want to address, then you can really kind of look at what tools there are to do that. And then you can think about the funding, and that's also going to inform the kinds of partnerships you want to form. to do the project. But I think starting, with the problem you want to address, green infrastructure can be used to do that across many different types of issues. That's really the starting point.